Hey guys, Aaron here. Today we're going to be talking about how to diagnose a misfire on a Nissan Titan. These procedures are the same for Nissan Armada as well, and the Infiniti QX56 models. Pretty common issue with these are the ignition coils. I'm not going to go there right now and just say it's an ignition coil. I'm going to teach you guys how to identify how the engine's misfiring, where it's misfiring, and the steps that I personally take to correct that issue and fix the vehicle. Now this particular truck is a 2004. These procedures will work 2004 through 2015. There's no changes in the engine drastically as far as misfire goes through those years. On this particular truck we're getting a cylinder number 2 misfire, which is the front cylinder on the passenger side. Passenger side is bank 2, so you'll go ahead and go 2, 4, 6, 8. That's your number of cylinders. Driver's side is bank 1, 1, 3, 5, 7 are your cylinder numbers on bank number 1. So what we're going to do before we bust out with a scanner, we're just going to go ahead and look over any PCV hoses that maybe have came loose. You have your vacuum hoses right here that go to your valve covers. Make sure your hose clamps are on nice and tight, which they are. Everything seems to be good. Also go ahead and check your connectors on your ignition coils. Everything seems to be on pretty good. I don't see anything obvious now, so let's go ahead and go over the scanner and see what we can find. Alright, so I'm actually going to be using an OTC Encore, but any scanner that can read codes or any engine parameters should be able to look up fuel trims. And here you can see I have a fuel trim selected for bank 1 and bank 2. I have both short-term and long-term fuel trim selected. What we're going to be looking for is a lean condition on bank 1. Anytime you have a misfire, the engine's going to be thinking it's running lean. So I just want to confirm that. I'm going to go ahead and start it up and look for a positive number. A positive number is going to indicate that the engine's trying to add fuel to that bank to counteract that lean condition. So as you can see with our short term on bank 2, which is where our misfire is at, we are getting a positive 10 to positive 13 fuel trim. That definitely is telling me that we do have a misfire, and probably an ignition misfire on that bank, which is bank 2. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is shut it off. And I'm going to try with the first easiest thing, which is I'm going to take the cylinder number 2 ignition coil and I'm going to move it over to cylinder number 1. And what we should see is we should see those positive numbers that we're seeing in number 2. They'll go ahead and they'll transfer over to number 1, because if the ignition coil is bad, which I think it is, it's going to go ahead and go into bank 1 and we're going to see those positive numbers. So let's go ahead and grab our tools and switch over the ignition coil. Alright, so here we are on the passenger side. Just going to remove the dipstick to get it out of the way. And all you're going to need is a 10mm socket to remove this bolt, which holds on the ignition coil. Once you get the bolt out of the way, what you could do is pinch the connector on the back. That'll allow it to come out, and simply pull off the coil. I like to just inspect the boot, nothing too obvious. I'm guessing if it is the coil, we're probably going to have an internal circuitry issue. So let's go ahead and swap this with cylinder number 1. Go ahead and throw it in that hole. Put our connector back on. Alright, so we swapped ignition coils. Make sure that your connectors are all the way pushed in until you hear the click. And put that bad boy back in, and gonna fire it up and check our short-term fuel. Alright, so with the engine running, you can see that bank 1 is very positive, which is indicating a misfire on bank 1. So now we know definitely that the ignition coil is the root of our problem by switching it over to bank 1, and the numbers follow bank 1. Just a reminder, anytime you do have a misfire, you're going to see positive numbers in your short-term fuel trim. The computer sees a misfire as a lean condition, and it's trying to compensate by adding more fuel to that bank. So let's go ahead, order up a new ignition coil and install it. Well, then we're going to check our short-term fuel trims after we do that, see if they're down. So I went ahead and picked up an ignition coil from Napa. They do carry the OEM brand ignition coil, which is Hitachi. Hitachi manufactures the ignition coils for Nissan. I do prefer Nissan parts, OEM parts, as far as ignition goes for these vehicles. But the second best thing is an OEM brand. So I'll go ahead and include a link in the description for the Hitachi, and I'll also include a link in the description for the OEM part. So let's go ahead and install this and see how it goes. So we got the new ignition coil installed, and as you can see, our numbers are right around 0, which is right where you want them. So I'm pretty sure we can call this a confirmed fix. This is the way that I diagnose misfires on these engines, on these vehicles. It seems to work for me pretty good. If you guys got a different way, let me know in the comment section. If you have any questions or concerns or other comments, go ahead and leave those there too. So I hope this video has helped you out. If it has, please like and subscribe, and I'll check you guys out next time. Take care.